Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Unfortunate news came out recently that has left both fans and the general public shocked and frustrated. According to the latest reports by Korean news outlets, a huge sum raised by the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, with the help of BTS member RM, including a significant amount donated by the idol himself, has been completely lost in the system. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. And if you're watching this on Jasmine's channel, please consider checking out my channel at ᴄᴇᴅɪᴛꜱ. To give some context, back in September of last year, when RM was still fulfilling his mandatory military service, he personally made a direct donation of 100 million Korean won, which is roughly $70,000 USD, to the ministry. This wasn't a random gesture. RM is known for being incredibly thoughtful with his charitable actions. He's made similar donations in the past to cultural preservation projects, education programs, and museums, always making sure the money goes toward meaningful causes that uplift society. So, this contribution to the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs was entirely in character for him. Thanks to his involvement, the ministry was able to raise an even larger amount, around 1 billion Korean won, or about $700,000 USD, in total donations. His influence as a member of BTS, combined with his sincere intent, clearly inspired many others to contribute. RM has long been respected for his humility and integrity, so people were quick to follow his lead and support a cause meant to honor Korea's uniformed heroes. However, as per an October 14th JTBC report, the situation took a deeply concerning turn. The ministry has admitted that it is unable to verify whether the donated funds were ever used for their designated purpose. In other words, despite all the publicity and the official thank you gestures, no one can currently confirm where the money actually went, or whether it reached the veterans and service members it was meant to support. When RM made the donation, he had specifically designated the funds to help uniformed workers such as soldiers, police officers, and firefighters, individuals who dedicate their lives to serving and protecting the nation. It wasn't just a general donation, it was a targeted act of support for the people who often put themselves at risk for the safety and stability of the country. In recognition of his generosity, Kang Jung-I, the Minister of Patriots and Veterans Affairs at the time, personally wrote a thank you letter to RM. The ministry also heavily promoted his contribution publicly, sharing it as an example of patriotism and goodwill. That campaign worked extremely well. As a direct result, the number of designated donations to the ministry skyrocketed, increasing 100-fold, with the number of donors jumping from just a handful to over 2,000 people. But now, the truth behind the scenes paints a completely different picture. It has come to light that designated donations collected in this manner cannot actually be tracked to confirm if they were used as specified. According to the existing law, all donations to the ministry are managed under a single national merit support account. This means that every donation, regardless of its intended purpose, gets pooled together into one large account, effectively erasing any way to distinguish what money came from where or what it was ultimately used for. This system makes it impossible to ensure accountability, and it's now being criticized for allowing situations like this to happen. Even though RM made sure to earmark his donation for a specific purpose, the way the funds are handled legally makes it nearly impossible to honor those wishes. Adding to the controversy, Lee Jung-moon, a member of the Democratic Party of Korea, recently addressed the issue publicly. He accused the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs of misleading the public by promoting designated donations, when in reality, they had no mechanism to keep those funds separate or transparent. His criticism suggested that the ministry used RM's name and goodwill as a publicity tool, while failing to uphold the promises made to both him and the public. In response, a ministry official tried to defend the institution, claiming that because the donations are managed manually, it is practically difficult to execute detailed tracking or allocation. The official added, "Although we are aware that the scope of donations is still limited, the enforcement ordinance was revised for promotional purposes." This response has done little to calm public anger. If anything, it's raised more eyebrows, suggesting that the system was updated mainly for appearance's sake, rather than real structural improvement. Naturally, the news has sparked significant outrage among RM's fans, many of whom are deeply protective of him and his character. They've taken to social media to express disappointment and disbelief that such a large and well-intentioned sum could simply vanish within a government system. One frustrated comment read, "Assigned him to the poorest base and the furthest from civilization, and now losing track of his money donated to help war veterans, wow." Another expressed heartbreak over the situation, saying, "It's disappointing to see genuine goodwill get lost in the system. When someone like Namjoon donates with such sincerity, the least the country can do is honor that intention." And perhaps one of the most direct comments summed up what many are thinking. "You are telling me 1 billion donation raised by RM went missing from the system and the government doesn't know where it went? Like, what the heck? The least they can do is honor the cause he donated money for." For fans, this situation hits especially hard because RM has always been a symbol of responsibility, intellect, and compassion. someone who uses his influence for the greater good. Seeing that trust seemingly mishandled by a national institution has stirred deep frustration. At this point, people are calling for greater transparency and reform within the Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs, urging them to revise how donations are managed so that future contributions, especially those inspired by public figures like RM, can actually reach the causes they're meant to support. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this is an honest mistake on the ministry's behalf? Or was this carelessness with the generous donations of thousands of people dedicated to the country's veterans and military?